Okay, now let's take a look at Jessica's photo restoration project. Ooh, goodness, that is a definitely damaged image, and it looks very, very old too. One of your mom's friends. Just take a minute to read this here. Yeah, you got your work cut out for you on this one. Let's see how you did. Not bad. Not bad. Let's kind of, yeah. I imagine, yeah, a spot healing brush helps quite a bit. As far as getting rid of the lines and the cracks and the wrinkles and everything, really, really good job. I do think maybe you went, the one thing that's kind of drawing my eye that I think is a little bit um, obvious or kind of artificial looking is the darkness in this doorway. I mean, yes, it is a dark space, but um, there's something about it that just seems a little too flat. And I think that you could have toned that down, possibly softened the edges a bit. If you'll see, there's not as much contrast between the dark space here and the white, and then there's very little contrast between the white and the wall behind it. And I think that this area here is probably the only area that I would really question and think, oh, this has had something done to it. A couple other things I'll point out just in case you want to keep working on this, or just so you guys will kind of know, there's some other things you could do. Um, One, there are a bunch of people over here, and no, they are not as important as these guys. These guys are the subject right here. But whatever's going on over here in the shadows, it would be nice if we could just get a little bit of detail, just so that they're not this flat kind of gray. Yeah, they're really, really flat in the original. But this is the kind of thing that maybe, isolating these figures here, masking out everything else, and just barely bringing up the exposure or levels or curves or something, that would really help. But other than that, really, really convincing. And I'm sure that whoever you give this to will be quite pleased with it. These are usually very well received by the people who they're intended for. So yeah, it looks great. Okay, and okay, this is the same woman. Um, yeah, of course, if it's the only one left, and that's one reason why this, the skill to do this kind of work, you can make some money at this if you get really, really good at it. People will pay. They want to take, they've got that one copy that's left, and they, want to have a version of it that's around forever, or just to send out to people or whatever. And, you'd be surprised what a really skilled Photoshop retouch person can do. I'm going to just finish reading this real quick. Okay. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, and you know, you didn't feel the need to push it to a completely cool gray. You know, I mean, it still has that aged effect. You know, it's clearly a black and white picture. It's still a little bit yellowy, but I think that that's a nice thing to leave. You know, tone it down just a bit if you can. Um, but you know, you don't necessarily always want to just, you know, go straight to grayscale and eliminate all that warmth because that can actually be you know a very nice thing. I mean, it's still a period piece, you know, whether it's torn up or restored or not. It's still of another time, and sometimes a little bit of that yellowing actually enhances the picture. I'd love to see a little bit more detail in the dark areas here, something that could possibly be done by masking out everything but the hair and, you know, messing around with your exposure a little bit or dodge and burn tool, something like that. But honestly, that's um, pretty minimal, and it's already like you don't have that much to work with. I'm seeing a little bit more detail, you know, just a little bit more three dimensionality in the hair right here. But you know, you've only got to work with what you've got to work with, and I'd say you just did a really really nice job on this. So I don't think I would have guessed that this one had been restored. So nice work on that. I'm going to just take a moment to read your statement here. And, okay, good job. Oh, I thought we were finished. Okay, I forgot I had asked you guys to do color. This looks really good. Very, very nice. I almost don't know if I'd have guessed that that was colorized. You did a really nice job without going overboard. And I guess you didn't have to do a whole lot to the skin tones because they already had that warmth to them. You came in and added a little color to the eyes and the lips. Um, and that shirt is the perfect color, the gold medallion against the blue shirt, really, really good. And then, you know, kind of it's still in the same color family, kind of a bluey green in the background, but you know, contrasting enough to separate her from the background. Very, very nice. Let's see. Yeah, and the skin tone probably is the hardest thing to do. One thing I recommend is finding another photograph of that has a skin tone in it that you like, and opening it up in Photoshop, and then using your eyedropper tool to select a color um, from that picture, from that you know person's skin, and you can kind of use that as a starting point. You know, or you could even go so far as to do a filter blur average and get like a solid field that kind of takes up all those colors and averages them out. And I think it's very difficult to guess on skin tones. I mean, I think a lot of people struggle with them, and so you know, just a little hint there that might make your life a little easier. But yeah, fantastic! You kind of knocked it out of the park on this one, so good work.